Hello and welcome to this episode of Tactics Review. I'm Adam from 4 Hours Later, and on this episode we'll be reviewing the ClanBanger22 tactic. This was created by Chris Rishton. You'll find Chris in the Uklanu group on Discord. He's also in Football Manager's Game It on Facebook group. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this tactic and we're going to place it in one club, generally the lowest rated club in that league, in each division, for one season, and see what happens with the tactic. We're not going to do much else than that, rather than set the tactic up, sim it, play a couple of games, and then sim it again till the end of the season, and then review the results and see what happens. If you like this kind of thing, leave us a comment or drop a like, but let's get on with the video. What you'll notice is that we haven't set up massive amounts of databases and leagues. This is because we're just simming the game. We're not playing the game, we're just reviewing the tactic, and so that's the reason why. So, as we start our first episode, this is Oxford City. So as you can see, this is the squad for Oxford City. But before we go any further, let's have a look at how we're setting this up. So we'll go into staff and we'll go into responsibilities. And if you look at the overview, I have no responsibilities. All those responsibilities have been put to the staff. So you can see there, absolutely everything will be controlled. For that reason, it then becomes that the system is simming it correctly. We're not having any influence, and all we're going to do is set that up when we go on holiday to make sure that it does what it's supposed to do. This is the tactic. This is ClanBanger22, a 4-3-3 asymmetric, and what you'll see is the attacking midfielder on the right is further up than the midfielder on the left. All we're simply going to do is leave that there, because we're not going to pick the players. The team's going to pick the players. They're going to put the best position for those in. What that means is, because we're simulating the transfers, when they sign a player, we're not having any influence. They will put that in. So that's all we're going to do in here. We're not going to do anything else other than that. And so all that's left now to do is to go to on holiday. We're going to reject all offers, because obviously we don't want the squad emptying out. Use current match tactics. We're not going to click use current team selection when possible, because we're going to leave that to be decided by our assistant manager. We're then going to put the date to the 1st of February, so let's change that to 2020. We're going to put February on there, set, and we're on his way. I shall see you in a few seconds. So we're back, it's the 1st of February, and we're going to look how this tactic has performed. As you may have already seen, Oxford City, the club predicted to finish bottom of the league, are top with 61 points. So we're going to have a quick look round before we get into that. Hard to take away spoilers, but let's have a look. So we haven't seen any of these games. This is what we're looking at, and so you can see an impressive start, 9-2 there over Farnborough. You can see an impressive start in the friendlies, 8-0, 7-0, 7-0, lots of goals. So in friendlies, this tactic is working. You then see a 7 straight wins with an almighty amount of goals in August, and you can see that's working there. A defeat there to Eastbourne Borough. This tactic isn't set to make you win every single game, but you can see there, just wins, draws. This is a good tactic so far. We then get into October. We see a couple of wins there, including the FA Cup third round, and then there's a slight little wobble there as we approach the National League South and the FA Cup fourth round, and then coming out of that too. We've got a couple of wins there in November, and then a couple of wobbles. December is pretty good with a 6-0, 2-0, 5-0, just one defeat and a draw. And then look at that for January. 3-1, 2-1, a 7-5, 5-1 in the FA Trophy, 2-1 and 4-2. So where does that now put Oxford? Let's look at the big table. Oxford City, top of the league on goal difference. In 29 games, they've won 18, drawn 7 and lost 4. They've scored a massive 75 goals. They have conceded a lot, 39 there. I mean, if you look at all the other promotion contenders, it is a lot of goals. I mean, they've only conceded 3 more less than Chelmsford City, who are right down at the bottom, but they are outscoring teams. 61 points. And let's have a look at some stats. So we have Anas Abdo. Was he signed? He was signed for them by the assistant manager, and he has hit 31 in 36 games. James Morris, another signing that they made, 23 goals in 33 games. And then you've got players like Owusu on 7, Brown on 4, Wiltshire on 4, and then 3 below the rest. And assists, 11 for Jordan Elliott, who looks to have arrived from Swansea. I'm guessing on a non-contract, part-time contract. He's already on his way out. He looks to be joining Falkirk. Dwayne Samuels with 10, Eddie Jones with 8, Kieran Wilshire with 8, 5 for Owusu, and so you can see the assists and goals are being shared round. The average ratings, look at all those above 7, including the top one there, the striker on 7.72, Anas Abdo, Finley Wood on 7.37, a loan signing that they've made, 11 games played, 7.29, and so this team and this tactic is working rather well so far. So what we'll do now, we're going to play 2 games, and so you can see it in its flow. They'll be against Eastbourne Borough today, and then Hemel Hempstead on the 4th. So we'll get those underway. Then we're going to sim through for the rest of the season up to this Weymouth game, and we're going to come back and see what's happened. And then it'll be on to episode 2. So we're now into this game against Eastbourne Borough away from home, and all we're going to do, quick pick and straight into the game. I'm going to submit that. We're going to pass everything over there. It's all down to the assistant manager. We're not doing anything, and we're going to get that game underway. And let's have a look and see how this performs. And it's Eastbourne on the attack at the moment. Gale gets there and they hit it against the post, and that will be for offside. Gale, and it's Eastbourne now with a throw in. Cull, Cass, back to Cull. Cull plays it inside to Schmoll, to Torres, Wills, who finds Carey and Cass, and then Carey again, who takes over, takes past his player, shoots, and that's a nice curling shot from Luke Carey for Eastbourne. So Eastbourne leading there. Eastbourne in 17th. Remember, this isn't the tactic that is perfect, but they do concede a lot of goals. So it would be nice to see, or good to see, the tactic and see how it responds to this. So that's their first shot on target that they scored. We've had another since then. Possession, first 15 minutes seems to be with Oxford, although they've not had a chance yet. This is Wood now who's taking the corner. Gale gets it away for Eastbourne and Wills, and then Owusu gets it back. Owusu to Wood. Wood's going to lay it inside. It's Wilshire who's got that. Montague lays it back. Azil over the top. Morris brings it down, but they're able to deal with it, and the keeper gets it away. And that's going to come to Cass. But it's got back and it's launched in, and Morris to Abdo, and now it's Abdo. This is the guy who's been scoring most of the goals. Abdo shoots. It's all over the place. Wood does get a shot in there, but it's away, and Wheeler, and you can see there's a lot of pressure being put on that Eastbourne defence. So although Oxford have only had 3 shots and 1 on target, there is a lot of pressure there that we've just seen. Be good to get another highlight before half time. Pretty surprised from what we've seen of the simmed games that we've not really had that attacking football so far. Let's get this second half underway. I'm going to have to use the substitutes because we can't sim that. Wood now with the corner. Goes out. And it's an Oxford player, Elliott, who gets to the ball. Elliott's going to play it back in. Over there, it's the header back in, but they deal with it. Don't deal with Abdo, and there's a goal. And we see Oxford score. Assist by Finley Wood. Anas Abdo scoring. And that's a goal for the tactic. We'll see the replay again so we can see Elliot from deep. And you can see there's a lot of players up there, and Abdo's just there to drive it home. And it's 1-all. We don't need to see that again. We'll get this game going again. 4 shots, 2 on target, 1 goal. And now it's Eastbourne who's got the ball. Throwing Cull to Schmull and then back to Cull, who then gets it to Kendu John. But Morris, who's playing high, picks up that loose ball. There's a shot and the keeper gets it across the goal. So it's we see a goal there and we didn't even see it happen. But that's because it's been disallowed. I thought something strange was happening there. We're going to see the replay. You can see there Oxford pushing that line, all of them. Elliot does score. It has been disallowed, and we are going to make the 3 substitutions just simply because that's what the game would do. So we're going to bring Ruffles on for Samuels, Brown on for Abdo, and we're going to bring Eddie Jones. Where does Eddie Jones want to play? We've already brought Ruffles on. Jamie Reynolds. We're going to bring Jamie Reynolds on, who wants to play left back. There we go. And so that's the 3 substitutes that's been made, simply just because that's what the sim would do. It would make the substitutes. So it's heading to a 1-1 draw. And not a lot of shots compared to the goals that we're seeing. And actually, Eastbourne here looked like they were going to nick it then. It's just gone over. So it's probably not the best example of the tactic from what we've seen of the results. And there's the goal. That's 2-1. Tarek Moore Azil from Finley Wood, who gets the assist again from a corner. And we'll see this again on the replay. It's a Wood corner. Not too much pressure, a lot moving about, but Morazil scores at the back post. He was marked by 2, but it's 2-1. And the actual tactic has limited Eastbourne. They've had 3 shots, 2 of those on target, but a massive 57% possession for Oxford. And there's another chance here, and it's gone in. Finley Woods scored a cracking free kick. He didn't mean it, but he played it in. It's gone through and it's gone in. It's 3-1, so the tactic has provided the 3-1 win, and there's the 3rd goal. But if you put it into those areas, that's what's going to happen. 2 assists and a goal for Wood, and it's 3-1. The sim is going to give the feedback, and we're going to get on to this next game. So we're into this next game. We're at home, well, Oxford are at home to Hemel Hempstead. We're going to see how this performs at home. 3-1 victory in the first game we've seen. All we're going to do, quick pick, let the computer decide, and it's decided, so let's submit that and get this game underway. And there we go, we're underway for the second game that we're going to see before we sim it for the rest of the season and then have a look through the results. And we can see here it's Oxford who get the first highlight, and Morris does score. It has been disallowed, but again you can see they're really pushing on that last line. And we'll see this again in the replay for the offside look, but they really are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 up there, 1 taking the free kick. So it is playing rather attacking. Morris is going to go off. We are going to have to make the change ourselves, and so Brown's going to come on. It's a quick change because all we're doing is the tactic. There's no need to do any having a look at who it is or anything. That's the striker for the striker. But it's 0-0 at the moment. I mean, Hemel Hempstead haven't had a shot, so although they've conceded a lot from what we've seen, and we highlighted it wasn't much more than some of the bottom clubs and that they're scoring goals freely, they're actually not conceding too many chances to the other team. And this is Wiltshire now. Wiltshire's going to get it in, but they get it out again, and it's not going to go too far out. That's going to be picked up by the defender, Samuels. Samuels is going to play it back down, and Elliot fights for it and gets it. Wood over the top. Doesn't come to anything, but Samuels is fighting for that loose ball, and there we go, and it hits the post. And it's another shot and another chance for Oxford City. And I have to say, for this level, this tactic does look quite good, because what we're seeing is it is limiting the chances. And so yes, you do have to take those chances because you're playing a a really attacking game, and that's why the goals are coming from. But defensively, they are limiting the chances, and so that's what you need to do. And we've got the ball here. It's a loose ball, and Capoamo picks it up. That's a very, very, very lucky escape. That was a dodgy ball that was played over there. And it's half time, it's 0-0, and we're going to get straight back off because it's all being simmed, all the feedback, etc. So it's Wilshere now with his free kick. Hoskins saves that. I think that was going wide anyway. I think Hoskins is just trying for some headlines there. Now it's a corner now. It's Elliott who's going to take this. Elliott takes it. It's not going anywhere really. Wilshere picks up the ball out. And it's Owusu to Morazil. Morazil, that comes to nothing. So it does remain 0-0. 12 shots, 5 of those on target. And again, just under 60% possession. And it's Hemel Hempstead who are on the ball at the moment. Howell, Sinclair, they play the ball forward. It's German to Nash. German plays it to Sterling. Braham Barrett crosses it in, and they score first. Ricky German. So Hemel Hempstead, who out of interest are 11th in the table, take the first goal. We'll see this again, just so we can see what they do. And it's just a cross in and a header, and there's plenty back there for Oxford, so it could have been dealt with. And this is a chance now. It's Elliott, and that hits the crossbar and over. It's the top of the crossbar. We are going to do those 2 substitutions. So let's get Ruffles on again. And we're going to bring... It's going to have to be Jamie Reynolds again. So we'll change those 2 over. And that's our subs made, just because that's what the sim would do. Oxford City 0, Hemel Hempstead 1. And you can see that they're pushing and trying to get that goal. So we're seeing now Brown on the ball. Brown to Wilshere. Ruffles. Ruffles plays it inside, and it's Wilshere again. Wilshere to Wood. Wood's going to play this to Owusu. Owusu back to Wood. Looked as though Wood were going to take a shot then. He is now. And it's easily saved by Hoskins. 19 shots, 9 on target, 56% possession. You can see there where the Sims telling him to demand more. Will that do the trick? Wilshere. And that's the goal. Kieran Wilshere scores from a free kick. And that brings the tie 1-1 again. They're drawn level. And you can see we're not changing anything or doing anything. We're just letting the game sim. It's just nice to see a couple of games so people can see what's happening. And we've got Wood now again, and Ruffles. Ruffles crosses. Owusu picks up the ball now. Owusu takes an almighty shot, but he puts it into an area. That was going wide. Brown scores though, and that's 2-1. 78th minute, and Oxford are 2-1 up. So as things stand, that will be 2 victories on this review on the live games that we're going to see. You can see that very direct. Brown scoring. Lots of men up there, and we're going to get another highlight from the kickoff here. Will it be for Hemel Hempstead? Cupamoa tries it. Morazil picks up the ball, recovers it, and Elliott now, who plays it out, and it's Abdo now. That's the club's top scorer. Owusu back to Reynolds. Wood again. Wood takes the shot. Keeper saves again. Hoskins there with the save. I think it was going wide anyway. But yeah, this two wins out of 2, and from what we've seen at this level, the tactic seems to have worked. I mean, we're not going to be able to see that until the end of the season, and we're also not going to see beyond this season for this club. And that's a lucky escape. And the other thing is, you've got to imagine that if you were managing a club like Oxford City, you would be buying in the players, you would be motivating them, you would be managing them how you're doing. We're not doing any of that. We're just letting the computer decide what the tactic does. And so far, it likes the tactic that we're seeing. And it does have its flaws, because you can see, distracted there by the game. You can see that sometimes they do get opened up in the amount of goals conceded, but at this level, the amount of goals being scored, and what we've highlighted that does in these last two games, and what we've seen, it works. So you can just imagine if you were to give this time, what it would do. Look at that: 25 shots, 13 on target, 55% possession. Hemel Hempstead really haven't had a massive amount of threat, or we've seen a really clear chance, really only by mistakes that's been made by the Oxford City players. So as we head to the end of this at 2-1, we are going to be simming again very shortly. That's it. Done. That's the two games. So what we're going to do now is we are going to look what those two games have done, so you know where we are ready. That's 67 points, 20 victories, 7 draws, 4 defeats, 80 goals already scored, 41 conceded, a goal difference of 39. And just look at this, coming out of January into February, and you're looking at 8 victories on the bounce with a massive amount of goals being scored. And if we take that back a bit, there's a 5-0 against Billericay there. That's a decent result against Billericay. And then a 3-3 against Dartford. So what's that? 9 victories out of 10. And it's really good. Very impressed. So what we're going to do now is we're going to sim the rest of the season. We're going to get to this Weymouth game on the 25th of the 4th. We're going to come back. 26th of the 4th. We're going to come back and we're going to look at all the results there. Look at the stats of the players that scored, final positions, etc., etc. And then that'll be the end of the review. But I'll see you in a few seconds. So we're back for the end of the season. This is to have a look what's happened, players, everything about this save before we end this. And that's episode 1 done. So as you can see, spoiler free, Oxford City promoted. But how did they get there? Let's have a look at some of these results and see what happened since we left them. So we finished off here against Hemel Hempstead, where we'd won those 2 games. Although looking at this just at a glance, it looks like it got a little bit shaky. But they basically drew with Slough in the FA Trophy, beat Slough in the replay, then beat Hampton and Richmond, and all seemed good. Before 3 defeats and a 5-game winless streak, which included being knocked out of the FA Trophy. Now we all know that when you get knocked out of a cup, that can have an effect. Too many games and not resting players can have an effect, so that might explain that. Oxford, too used to doing my live saves. Oxford then went on and beat Welling 1-0, Havant 4-3, Bath 3-1, then Hungerford 1-0. I'd be interesting to see if they were top at this point, because I know we've seen the table and it was quite tight there, because then, inexplicably, 3 straight defeats. Scoring in 2 of them, because this tactic seems to be a scoring, you can score. This scores goals. It's how many you concede, and this was what we talked about before. Although we saw it in the games, limiting chances, it does concede goals. The point of the tactic, and it seems, is it outscores 4-3, 3-1, 3-1. But when you can't outscore your opponent and they are going to score, you lose, and that's it. And so we got these 3 defeats here. That meant they went into the playoffs. A 4-0 victory over Wealdstone in the semi-finals, and then beat Maidstone on penalties in the final. Now the other thing to remember here, and it might not just be the tactics, vulnerability, conceding goals, it might be things like pressure. We're simming, so if the assistant manager is no good and has advised something that shouldn't be advised and broken the morale, or if the players are up to the job pressure-wise, that could explain it. top of the table, needing the wins to get promoted, and it all falls apart. Let's have a quick look. If we go to the table and have a look. So, after Hungerford, they are first. Then they lose to Dulwich Hamlet, they lose to Braintree, and lose to Weymouth. And so those 3 defeats push them down, and so pressure might have something to do with it. So the overall table, as we see, 83 points for a team expected to finish bottom of the pile, where interestingly Hungerford finished. Oxford finished third. I think that's kind of respectable, to be honest, scoring 83 points. Let's have a look at the big table again. Just short of 100 goals, 83 points, conceded 59, where we look at this, and that is more your, not, I mean, we're looking at 81 and 70, it's not like that. It's more of your bottom end teams, and that's the fragility of it. But it's not set to do that, it's set to outscore your teams. 38 goal difference, the best goal difference in the division, but 83 points, and I would probably say this close to automatic promotion, but they're promoted having expected to finish bottom of the pile. Result, done. That's what it's supposed to do. Let's have a look at player stats, and this is the point. 2 top scorers in the division, Anas Abdo, James Morris. You have to concede that they did sign those players, but they still had to play to the tactic, and it got their strikers scoring. And one of the things you want to do on Football Manager is get your strikers scoring. Another tick in the box. Player of the Match Awards, Anas Abdo second, Liam Nash taking that, he was the 3rd top goal scorer, and Byron Lawrence behind that from Braintree. Average ratings, Anas Abdo 7.57, and when you're scoring as many goals as that, you can see why. Behind him, Clady Lolos from Weymouth on 7.44, and Dean Agger on 7.32. Clean sheets, interesting to see here. So 8th, still keeping the clean sheets, and in some games, especially the 2 live games, they were limiting the chances, and so that 10 clean sheets is there, but that isn't normally promotion winning material. But they got promoted. Tick. We then have assists, and we have Dean Agger, Dulwich Hamlet on 17, Byron Lawrence on 15, Jordan Elliott coming 3rd on 13. Behind him, players for Oxford, Kieran Wilshire there with 10, Eddie Jones with 9, and Samuels there with 9. So there's assists coming from all over the place. Yellow cards, there's a couple there, but we will not know until, I mean, any reds there for him? No. So yeah, amass the yellow cards, no red cards in those 2 guys. I'm pretty sure they would have been throughout the season, to be expected. But let's have a look now. 55 game season, Anas Abdo 41 goals, James Morris 29 goals. Then we've got Stephen Brown. Now he scored 9 goals. He only started 9 games, 15 substitutes. Pretty decent return. Nano Owusu, I think, plays on the right. 8 goals from 41 starts, 43 games total. Finley Wood, who in those 2 games we saw a lot of, he got 6 goals for the season. And then Kieran Wiltshire on 6. Ben Jefford got 4, and then below that 3, and below there. If we look at the assists, Jordan Elliott on 16. Dwayne Samuels on 12. We've got Kieran Wilshire on 11. Eddie Jones on 9. We've already seen these in those charts. But then, look at this. Throughout the team, assists galore. Nana Owusu, Finley Wood 6. Anas Abdo 6 himself. John Osler, the centre-back, 5. There's 4 there for Stephen Brown, 4 for Danny Rowe, 4 for Josh Ashby, and then 3 below. We've seen the average rating of Anas Abdo. We've then got James Morris, his strike partner, on 7.27. Finley Wood on 7.19. Stephen Brown, Jordan Elliott, John Osler, and Daniel Rowe, all above 7s. And so that is a pretty good return. Out of the box, raw tactic, we've done nothing to it. And that's the beauty of the tactic, I suppose. It's an attacking tactic. It works at the level. I think it ticks the boxes. It's never going to be the perfect tactic. You aren't going to win 42 games in a... Well, you could do with your management, but out of the box, straight away, you're not going to win all your games. Because that's not what the tactic's designed to do. The tactic's designed that it does have those flaws because you're taking the chances and attacking. And it's worked. We can see it's worked. We can see the players are scoring. It scores a lot of goals, and it's got Oxford City promotion. And so if this was any normal save, you'd be quite happy with that and planning for life in the National League. And on to that, that's where we're going next. Because what we're going to do is we're going to take the lowest national side, and we're going to see whether this tactic, out of the box raw, continues to work as it has done here. If it does, there we go, another box ticked. But the only way to get a full review, without obviously spending 5 years at each club, which I have no time to do, a season at each club, let the computer sim it. We're not touching anything and messing about with it. We're just letting it do it. If we do that with every club, we're going to see a result at each level, and at the lowest level in each division, what the results get, which will be very interesting when we start getting up to the Championship and the Premier League level. So that's me signing off for today. This tactic is called ClanBanger. Has nothing to do with me. I'm just reviewing it. I have seen a lot of good things about it. It was created by Chris Rishton. Chris Rishton is a member of Football Manager Gamers on Facebook, and you can find him on Discord under Oklanu. And if you have a look in the description, that will give you the details of about the links and how to download the tactic if you want to try it. If you are downloading and try it, let me know how you get on. And thank you for Chris for letting us do this video. See you on the next episode. You've just been watching 4 hours later. That was a tactics review, but if you like what you've seen, please subscribe to the channel. We have more content, including our Non-League to Glory series and some more series coming up. Rovers Return, coming soon. We also have some other tactics, and there will be episode 2 soon, so keep tuned for those. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in whatever series you're watching next.
We are heroes tonight.